Hello and welcome back to the Screen Zone podcast where we discuss about movies, games, everything geeky every once a while whenever me and Madhav find the time to do so. And when Madhav doesn't find the time, I just find some random guest these days, I guess. But
I've become very, very replaceable.
no, you're never replaced. See, I'm never going to use this format without you. You're always
Oh,
going to occupy that red box right beside me.
you touch me, sir. That's what she
Yeah.
said.
So today we're talking about The Batman, a movie that I've been looking forward to for almost 3 years now since it was announced, almost 3 to 4 years. If you count the original version when Ben Affleck was still attached, he was going to direct the movie. It's been like almost 4 years or something crazy like that. But the movie's
It's
here. We
been
finally watched it.
fucking forever
Yep.
when you think about it.
Yeah, and me and Madhav, we both were able to watch the movie a little early, and then we watched it again on release day. Not together, unfortunately, but we've seen it both times, so we have a good idea about the plot. We have a good idea about because it's a huge movie. It's a 3 hour long movie, and there's a lot of movie in there. So on first viewing, you can forget a certain few narrative elements, but we're all done through that. So let's just get into it. And this is going to be a full on spoiler review. We're not going to tiptoe around. If you want a somewhat spoiler free verdict or something, go on the website, read my review. But let's just get into the details. Madhav, what are your reaction? That's all you need, really.
That's kind of all you need. I mean,
Yeah.
okay, so I do have flaws with the movie, but I'll get into them later.
Yeah.
Fucking, this is yeah. What do we say? It's beautiful. It's amazing. I really fucking love this movie. Um, so going in, obviously, I had faith. So since, like you said, since the announcement thing, I was kind of firstly on the fence because I wasn't itna bada fan of Affleck, Batfleck. So I was like, okay, maybe they can do something, maybe. And at that point, DC was like really, really down in the dumps.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't know how it was gonna go, but slowly and steadily, when like Matt Reeves came on, Matt Reeves, to matlab, after the Planet of the Apes movies, that man has my heart.
Yep.
So that was the sole thing, um, keeping my faith steady in this movie throughout the years. And yeah, when I first heard Pattinson, I was a little on the fence, but then Tenet happened and Lighthouse happened, so I was like, okay, this guy might actually, like, he's good. I have faith in him also. Then the suit came out originally. Also, even that I was kind of like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. But then now, after watching the movie, that suit has grown on me. Like, fuck, it's so good, and it's like perfect for this um tone and this style that they've taken to this movie. So yeah, going in, I had certain faith in some elements, and then looking at the trailer and everything, it was like, yeah, this has to be good. This cannot be bad. If this is bad, then nothing in life like makes sense.
Yeah. So
you
with
know that
me,
that level.
I mean, I liked Ben Affleck's version of Batman, specifically in BVS, not so much in Justice League.
Yeah,
For me, Ben Affleck directing, starring in his own Batman movie, was an amazing news whenever it came out. But
yeah.
it's
Because
fine,
say what you want about him as an actor, he is a good director.
yeah.
Maybe
And
not the
so
best writer. Also, actually, not maybe. He's not the best writer, but he's a good director.
yeah, and so when he stepped off the role, Matt Reeves came in. Initial reports were like, okay, he's not gonna direct, but he's still gonna star in the movie. And then Matt Reeves came in, and then they decided, okay, let's just do our own thing. And I was cool with that. Matt Reeves is a great director. Robert Pattinson, I was pretty satisfied with the casting from day one. Uh,
Mm.
and then the first images came out. The first time the suit was revealed, uh, it kind of reminded me of Daredevil's suit in the Netflix show because you didn't see the ears in that first reveal. You just saw till like his forehead, and it was all red, just like our background here. So it was all red lighting and everything. And then,
Mm.
of course, as we saw more of the movie slowly, I mean, it just looked better and better. It's one of the few movies where each trailer is or like you could argue each trailer is better than the last. Um, and this movie has so much going into it. Not only is it setting up a new Batman with a new Gotham, with a new Gordon, Alfred, all those characters, it's also diving right into the Batman rogues gallery. Like in this movie, you have the Riddler, you have Catwoman, you have you have the Penguin who has a small role who will grow into his own thing later on. You have some teasers to other stuff. So this is a fully formed Gotham that Batman has been active for almost 2 years now at this point. So this
Mm.
movie takes a lot of inspirations from Year One. It takes inspirations from The Long Halloween
Long Halloween.
and even a little bit of Court of Owls.
Certain elements I would even argue of Gotham by Gaslight,
Yeah.
even though it's not the same time period, but they made it look pretty old school. They made Gotham look
Hmm.
very old school.
The soundtrack,
Which
especially.
kind of, oh my god, soundtrack, we will get to the soundtrack.
Hmm.
But yeah, I was, there were certain moments like in the first maybe 20 minutes where I was a little like confused ki which time period is this taking place in, because they made it look so like old school and
Right.
vintage.
Yeah.
But then some of the riddles involve like USB ports and URL and stuff. So I was like, okay, fine.
God, I love
But
that joke. Thumb drive.
thumb drive. Speaking of which, I fucking love Gordon in this movie.
Yep. Same.
Gordon is awesome. Okay, wait,
Hmm.
let me like throw a backtrack. Okay. So when I first saw the movie, loved it obviously. I had some um gripes with the story, but I couldn't exactly pinpoint what.
Hmm.
Other than the story, I thought everything was like immaculate.
Yeah.
Then I saw it the second time.
To me this is pretty
Uh
much the perfect Batman noir movie. That's what I said in my review also.
Noir movie.
And
Yeah.
my bigger concerns are with the with pacing, specifically in the second half, where it kind of drags for a little bit. It feels like it has 2-3 different finales. uh, Pretty much after he catches Falcone, like I had like when I go into a movie, I block out all the trailer footage that I've seen. Right, so
Yeah.
even though we've seen footage after that sequence from the trailers, when he catches Falcone, it almost felt like a natural ending. Like, okay, fine, pakad liya, now Riddler will be done in like 10 minutes or something. But then it
Hmm.
goes on for another like 30-40 minutes or so. But and that stuck out a lot the second time, because the second
Yeah, so
time,
that's what I was saying. Ki the
yeah,
second time I saw the stuff I liked even more.
yep,
But stuff I didn't like even more.
same,
So like
yeah.
its flaws were sort of even more glaring.
Hmm.
And I was able to pinpoint exactly what things I didn't like, which we will get into. But like the good parts first. Okay, firstly, Pattinson, dude, this guy's killing it throughout, everywhere. He's
Hmm.
just everything he's doing is good now. This is such a redemption arc for him, for the internet making fun of him for like 10 years.
Hmm.
And now he's like everyone loves him. So this like I'm really liking. He's a very good, okay. He's a very good Batman. We will get into his Bruce Wayne later also, I think.
Yeah, yeah,
Um
sure.
but
And
yeah, he was,
he is Batman for like 80% of the entire movie. There's very little
yeah, there's
Bruce Wayne
very
here.
little Bruce Wayne and even lesser public persona Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's still not that. He still hasn't mastered that, or he doesn't want to master that playboy philanthropist
Fuck
kind of role.
mastering also. I don't. What I thought basically, this isn't really the story or the world
Mm.
for that.
Yeah.
Even though, yeah, like yeah, the best Batmans have all three personas,
Yeah, I'm not complaining. I'm just saying
but
he's not that version yet. Like that's not his concern
yeah,
at all. He just wants to be Batman 24/7. He's only Bruce Wayne when he needs to be, or
yeah.
when the world calls for him to be Bruce Wayne. Other than that,
Mhm.
he's always in his bat cave. He's always in his that eye makeup, which I fucking love. I love whenever he
I
takes off his
love the
mask.
eye makeup and the hair
Yeah.
when when he's just in the Batcave, essay.
Hmm.
Love that shit. Love it. Um, I was concerned about Catwoman because
Okay.
Zoe Kravitz, I don't know, I just didn't see her as Catwoman really, but she fulfilled the role well. Like I said, I think Gordon's my favorite part of this movie. Sorry,
Yeah.
no, Gordon and Penguin.
Oh man, Colin
That
Farrell.
one,
Holy fuck.
dude, what the fuck? Had we not known that that was him, we wouldn't have known that that was him.
No one can tell it's him. if you don't know it is him.
Yeah, that's how good like his performance and the makeup and everything is, and whatever scenes he had alone, he killed it.
Hmm.
Fucking hilarious.
No habla
So
español.
good. World's greatest detectives. Love it, love it. Okay, so the characters in this movie, like the acting and their portrayal is very good.
Hmm.
Even Riddler, his portrayal of Riddler, like I like this new take on Riddler.
Hmm.
Usually when we see Riddler, he's kind of like he's a proper narcissist, but he's also kind of taken as a joke.
Hmm.
Here he was full of purpose and completely serious and kind of unhinged. And I thought my first thought of him was, this is sort of like Joker and Bane mixed, because the voice he uses in those voice recordings is totally Bane,
Hmm.
and the things he's saying and the way he's saying is totally Joker.
Yeah.
Dark Knight.
Mm.
um so yeah, even though yeah his portrayal draws from some things, and I'll get into my issues with him obviously, but yeah, the portrayals are very good. Even Andy Serkis as as
Alfred.
Alfred, I was concerned about his casting, but he was good for what he needed to be. He was good.
Yeah.
The portrayals are good. The direction is mind blowing. The
Hmm.
cinematography, holy shit.
Greg Fraser is just keeps on giving, man. That guy.
Dude, what the fuck? This, okay, anyone listening or watching, please, like, if you don't watch this in IMAX, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Please watch
And
this in
and I'll note
IMAX.
this, even though the movie doesn't really use the IMAX ratio, it's worth it just for the sound mix alone, and
Just
you
for the
get a
sound. Yeah, I was just about to say the score.
yeah.
Michael Giacchino, like, doesn't fail.
Yep.
Hans Zimmer has failed. Michael Giacchino yet hasn't. So, you know, but yeah, Michael Giacchino scored that theme. So, in the early screening, they were playing the theme in the theater throughout,
Yeah.
and they were also playing it in the bathrooms,
Oh wow.
so that you can pee with vengeance. you know
Something in
um
the way.
yeah, it was awesome. That theme got stuck in my head, and I've been like listening to it constantly. This is a very very good theme
Hmm.
for Batman, and the score overall also
Yeah.
superb. Obvious direction wise, obvious inspiration is Fincher. This
Yeah.
is, in a sense, you can call this movie, not in a sense, I would actually call this movie Seven, but with Batman.
Yeah. Exactly. We have like that's pretty much what the vibe we got from the trailers, and in fact,
Yeah.
even though the movie was set up as a murder mystery in the vein of Seven, uh, we got way more of that than I actually expected going in. Like this is a full on suspense.
Same, same.
Uh,
I was expecting a superhero movie that was
mhm.
sort of stylized like Seven.
Yeah.
This is straight up, like I said, Seven, but with Batman.
Hmm.
It is a proper mystery through and through. It is not as much of a superhero movie as you might think, just
Hmm.
because it's Batman. But yeah, I like that. I like that something is finally focusing more on the detective aspect of Batman.
Yeah.
Which, like, that was his whole thing, right? World's greatest detective.
Yeah. And
We finally have a movie for that.
this is the first time we've seen that aspect of Batman really being
Shut
explored as
up.
much.
Shut
The
up.
what?
Batman
What?
Forever.
Oh shit. Okay,
Are you
fine. I'll give you
forgetting
that.
that masterpiece?
I'll give you that. But like like speaking of recent versions, right, with Bale and then Affleck, Bale obviously got to do a little bit of that. Even though I felt like it was done in a more
Ah,
I don't know what to call it. Like the one sequence that jumps to my mind is the that bullet sequence in Dark Knight,
I
where
was I
is
was just thinking that. Yeah.
which
It's more just like it's more of an investigation than a mystery.
yeah, yeah,
Is That's the best way I can put it.
yeah.
Like, yeah, there are clues which he's following, there are leads which he's following, but it's more investigative
Mm-hmm.
than a whole mystery. That mysterious aspect is not there as much. But yeah, this is a full blown mystery. Like there is a killer who's leaving clues that you have to find, things like that. Um, I mean, there's not much I can say about the goods in this movie. Like, all the positives in this movie are just, like I said, immaculate.
Yeah,
It's too good.
and I like the fact that because this is Batman in his second year, he does make mistakes. There are times when he misinterprets some of the clues. There are times when he will chase the wrong leads, like that entire Penguin chase sequence, which is fucking amazing.
Mm.
But at the end, Penguin, I love the way Penguin berates both him and Gordon. Like, what you
He's
did?
like,
Is it stupid or something you did?
into my captain's face. Holy God, what are you showing me here? Come on.
I absolutely loved him. And yeah, so yeah, he does make mistakes, not just in the investigative parts, but also like whenever he's about to, like that moment when he's about to jump off from the GCPD, he's escaping GCPD,
Yeah.
and he activates the wingsuit, and there's a moment where he almost like he's a little afraid of heights in that scene. Like, okay, is this gonna work? I'm not so sure, but I have to do it. That there are moments when obviously
Yeah,
in the end,
he's not like a complete resolute
yeah,
Batman yet.
yeah.
He's still learning. So that's another thing that came to mind. Another inspiration is Arkham Origins,
Mm-hmm.
because he's very early being Batman, and the way they explore his relationship with Alfred, the whole "you're not my father, stop acting like one," and then something happens to Alfred, and then they start bonding.
Mm-hmm.
That is exactly Arkham Origins.
I mean, we have at
But
least
yeah,
like now all the Arkham Origins fans are like um, justified happily. See, Matt Reeves also likes our game. Okay,
vindication.
yes, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm happy with
So
that. I love that part.
yeah, this is what, okay, studios need to learn. This is what dark and gritty actually means.
Yeah.
It's not just you lower the exposure of a movie, Snyder. You don't just lower the exposure of a movie and it becomes gritty.
Mm-hmm.
It needs to be directed in that sense also.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I really don't have more to say about like the positives. We can keep rambling on, but it's the same thing. They're amazing.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck do you say? That it does border on every frame is a painting level, I would say.
Yeah, and the because the pacing is quite slow, like slow in a good way, at least for the first half. In the second half, it's a little problematic, but it gives you time to really take in these shots. Like the first moment, the first scene when the Riddler is taking on that mayor, uh, like there's like an entire 90-second shot. The opening shot is just like him looking through the binoculars with creepy breathing,
Yeah.
and with a classic music track playing. I'm forgetting the name, but you've all heard it. uh, but stuff like that, you would think like stuff like that is the stuff that studio would say, okay, let's just cut that out, we can just start with him. We can, like, you can see where studios and even sometimes editors themselves would say, you know what, we can tighten this up. And I would agree with them for the second half, but it's good for the first half because it sets up the mood really well. It sets up
Mm.
the fact that yeah, this is not a, like, there's going to be spectacle throughout the movie when it's needed, but that's not our focus. Even when like the Batmobile's introduction, holy fuck, I love the Batmobile's introduction. The sound design in that sequence, especially the way he's revving that Batmobile, and he's just saying, okay, like he's just warning the Penguin, you try to run, motherfucker.
There is, yeah, the oh my god, the reveal of the Batmobile is orgasmic.
Yep.
Matlab, I wanted more of the Batmobile in this. And going
Hmm.
back to that flying scene you were saying, the way that is shot
Yeah.
is awesome.
Hmm.
And yeah, that again leads to the whole thing of him being new and him being not as developed of a Batman. You can see even when he's flying, he's firstly not flying perfectly. He's sort of like finding his way as he's going, and as he like takes his parachute out, he crashes into that bridge.
Hmm.
And like, and that's another thing in this movie. He's not he's not Superman. He gets his ass kicked
Yeah.
in this quite a bit. Which brings me to the fucking combat.
Hmm.
This is perfect Batman combat.
Hmm.
Perfect. There is nothing I would change about this. Leah Arkham se inspiration, good. Because that was awesome combat also. The
Yes.
way Batman fights in this, in the station scene, his introduction, and there is the I can't remember where in the movie it
When
happens, but
he goes to
that
visit,
corridor when he's in the lift and he's
yeah.
on like on top of the lift, And then there's that one static shot which is only illuminated by gunshots.
Yes.
If anyone ever says Matt Reeves is a bad director, no, show them that fucking scene. God damn, the combat is insane. Um, yeah, is there anything more good to say? We can
uh,
keep gushing about the positives of this movie, and this review will be like longer than the movie.
yeah, no, I'm going through the plot on Wikipedia because there's a lot to keep track of.
There
Um,
is.
but we should mention, like, we went over most of the cast, but John Turturro as Carmen Falcone. Wow.
Hmm.
Um, I mean, I could still see, like, I have to actively separate him from the Transformers stuff whenever I saw
Oh,
him on screen.
Transformers. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. For me, it's Big Lebowski.
Yeah, yeah. I've seen a lot of people mention that
That's
too.
that's a more iconic role of his.
Yeah, yeah. And but I think he did pretty well, especially later on because he becomes an even bigger part, not just to the mystery but also to the personal lives of Bruce and Selina.
Mhm.
He has this uh, like he's not physically imposing really, like even the most darkest scene we hear of him when we're hearing the that phone recording, right, where he kills Annika. You just hear him kind of strangling her in a relaxed way, like, oh, okay, that's sad.
Yeah,
It's
I think he was going for that. It's
mm-hmm.
threatening how calm he is
Yeah, yeah,
perspective, but I don't think this story necessarily needed that. Which is
yeah.
why his is the only portrayal where I'm like, okay, maybe this could have been a little better. He could have been a little more abrasive. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
that's the right word, or aggressive. Like, yeah, it's he was too somber
Right.
for what he maybe needed to be.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I didn't mind it. I won't
Yeah,
say
same.
that was like a necessary flaw with it.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, can we get into the flaws now? Because that's where most of what I'm going to talk about is there.
of course you are. Chalo, let's go.
Okay, so the main gripe of mine was the story.
Mm-hmm.
His whole resolution was that he doesn't just need to fight evil, he also needs to uplift good,
Yeah.
right? That was his resolution. My main concern is, and please correct me if I'm wrong,
Sure.
where was the setup for that?
I think the I don't know the exact setup. Like, obviously the first line he says is that I am vengeance. He's fighting, and then when he's talking to Alfred throughout the movie, he's saying that I was fighting. Like, he was not fighting uh, uh, for, like, at the end when he says, like, I've given people hope. Like, that's what
Yeah,
people need. I'm going to become that. So he's fighting because of the pain he has endured. He's fighting to basically punish criminals and not because of justice.
yeah.
And I think it comes back around at the end when they unmask one of the Riddler followers, the
And
final
he
one,
also says I'm
and
vengeance.
he
Yeah,
says,
yeah,
"I am
I get that,
vengeance."
that's the turning point.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Uh,
where was that the conflict throughout the rest of the movie? Ki that is the resolution now.
I don't think the conflict was that was the reason why he was fighting. I think it was more about like when he says it at the start that I don't think I'm bringing any change. Right. I don't think I'm seeing any change even though I've been doing this for like 2 years now. Like, yeah, I'm scaring people. Whenever the bat signal goes up, people are scared and crime rates kind of drop for the night maybe. But it's not really lifting Gotham as a whole. So I
Mm.
think that's what he realizes at the end, that okay, I need to fight for justice. I don't need to fight for just to, like, punish criminals. I need to fight for like, I don't know. This is where you get into a little more like philosophical stuff. Uh,
Yeah, which I mean, to me, that's what Batman is, right? That's like
yeah,
he's
yeah,
one of the most complex characters
yeah,
ever.
yeah.
So that's one of my main gripes. That okay, if that's your resolution, I get that,
Mm-hmm.
and I get that Riddler being your villain uh, for this resolution to happen is a thing. I get that. I was just like, then the setup needs to be a little more concrete. I
Sure.
get going for subtlety, but when it's so subtle that even after watching twice, I missed it,
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of a problem for me.
Sure.
Uh, Number one was that. Number two, yeah, the story. Sorry, the pacing.
Yeah.
First half the pacing was very good. Second half it really could have been tightened up. It didn't need to be 3 hours,
No, it
maybe two
didn't.
hours, 2.5, 2 hours 40 maybe.
Yeah.
But I won't even say it was that. Ki Falcon being captured being the finale, and then like a little denouement with the Riddler and all. I didn't mind that. What I minded was everything leading up to that, the from Alfred getting hurt in the explosion
Mm-hmm.
up till Falcon. Everything there was just slightly slower than it needed to be, and it felt like they were getting a little too indulgent with
Right.
it.
Yeah.
Like they were getting into that territory where, okay, if I focus on this shot enough, matlab kuch depth add ho raha hai.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
not necessarily true. Even though I would say they have earned a little indulgence because of how stylish the movie is, and they're like gone very creative with it, but not jitna the second half was. Like easily you could shave off 20 minutes if you just tightened it up a little.
Yeah, I think
Um,
some of that also comes from the structure where, like, you just look at it on paper, right? Or even in the movie itself. First, like, Bruce goes to Falcone to confront the truth about his parents. Then the Alfred scene happens. He meets Alfred. He says, "Okay, you lied to me." We kind of get the same backstory, but from a different perspective. Like, he says, "Okay, I think Falcone killed them, whatever." But it's just something about the structure of those two scenes, and then later on, of course, like that's the part
yeah,
where
they're
the film
like
starts dragging.
establishing something and then subverting it in the very next scene.
Yeah.
That doesn't necessarily work in this
Yeah.
because it's a slow burn. You're supposed to take things like pace them out a little
Hmm.
and then stick with them and then maybe subvert them. You can't subvert it itna instantly, especially because this is a mystery.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's where my main concerns with the movie lie. That maybe it could be a better story.
Hmm.
I like the narrative is good, but yeah, the story definitely needed more work, I feel.
Yeah.
Like along with the style, maybe work towards your storytelling also.
Yeah.
There was that. Yeah, like I said, I didn't feel the setup. Okay, now I'll get to Catwoman, then Riddler. Catwoman, I don't necessarily feel she had any urgency in the story.
Hmm.
She has a lot of importance to the backstory, but she doesn't do enough to push the story forward herself. She's not as active as a character as maybe I wanted. She's present. I wanted her to be more active
Hmm.
as a character, be like a important piece in the story, not just like, okay, we remove her, nothing really changes.
Yeah. I
I won't
think
say
a
that
lot of
that's the
that.
case, but it kind of felt that way. She wasn't as important as maybe the movie's making her out to be.
Yeah, I think a part of that comes from. So the movie starts off with the Riddler plot line about
Mhm.
him killing all these people and all that, the truth about Gotham, that stuff. Then we get then the Bruce ka parents storyline is peppered throughout the movie until the moment he meets Falcone, and of course the first half, Catwoman has relations to the Riddler plotline where, like, she's saving Annika, she heard something from Annika and all that stuff. But then later, when it revealed that Falcone is her father, and
Yeah.
it becomes a personal thing at that point. I had all that. That's where I think my feeling about Falcone being caught could have been like is a more final moment, because at that point you've forgotten about Riddler. When that entire sequence is happening, Riddler is not really a part
Yeah,
of that
yeah,
sequence.
yeah. I'll get to Riddler.
Yeah, and so, but and it's an incredibly personal moment, right? When Selina goes to kill her father, then Batman's going to try to stop her.
Mm.
It's a more personal moment there, but it doesn't really link to the actual story of the movie. And then, of course, the structure is also kind of weird, where you get you get introduced to Catwoman as part of the active story, but then it devolves into its own thing later on.
Yeah.
uh, so yeah, I agree with you. Like that could have been tightened up. That could have
And
been.
it's okay to like sort of make it personal and
Hmm.
reveal that it's personal also,
Yeah,
but it should be personal also, not just purely personal, which is what I feel it like devolves into
yeah,
towards the second half. So yeah, that was Catwoman's thing. I still love her
Hmm.
for obvious reasons also. But okay, so now Riddler.
Hmm.
I'm gonna get so much like, oh my god, Rohit's gonna kill me, no? If he watches this. Sorry.
I mean, I haven't read his review though. Like, I know he loved the movie. Like, we were
Yeah,
all very giggling out of the theater when, but
obviously.
oh man, he
Yeah,
was
no,
going.
no, no, because yeah, you told me how big a Batman fan he is.
Oh yeah. So like for some of you, for most of you who don't know Rohit Rajput, he's a writer for Latestly, and he's one of the biggest Batman fans we've seen. Like
One off?
literally, dude. Like okay, fine. His phone ka wallpaper is Batman. The poster that's fine. But then I went to his house, and he literally has like stacks of graphic novels like Dark Knight Returns, Long Halloween, all that stuff. He's got posters everywhere. So
This
that guy
guy,
has been crazy for this movie for like the past
it,
4 or 5 years.
like it's surprising he actually doesn't go out as a vigilante at night and fight crime.
Yes.
Like that's the level of Batman fan he is. So yeah, if Rohit you're watching this, sorry. Um, Riddler as a villain works only thematically,
Hmm.
not as much in the story or plot as I would have wanted. I feel
Yeah.
basically felt like he didn't have enough presence as an antagonist in the movie. The main antagonist always in the moment feels like either the situation or society itself. A
Hmm.
theme of society being dishonest or whatever, with like corruption and lies and like whatever. Um, and how his like Batman's own vengeance form of vengeance right now is also a version of dishonesty, which is why he changes and all. So I get that the Riddler's whole thing was there and it works thematically, but as a villain, I just feel the best Batman stories require a direct antagonist and
Hmm.
an antagonist who has like proper weight in the narrative. Like
Yeah.
at every moment, it should feel like okay, whatever is happening, it relates back to directly to him, not
Yeah.
indirectly, not that he's hiding in the shadows or whatever. It should relate back directly to him, and he should
Yeah.
feel like I just said, he needs to have more presence as a villain, as
Yeah.
an antagonistic force to Batman.
Yeah, because when he's revealed, like when he turns himself in basically, and then they find out, okay, this guy is called Edward Nashton, he's an accountant, but then that's all you really get. Like we get the the surface level idea of why he's doing this. Like he
Yeah,
thinks that him and Batman are on the same level. That's why he's basically saying, oh, you're helping me. You put him on the light. That's why I was able to do all this. But we don't really get a like a stronger reason than that. Like okay, why is this particular guy
yeah, and
interested
it
in the
was it
thing?
was yeah. Okay. Firstly, his backstory, I predicted the
Hmm.
second Thomas Wayne was even mentioned
Yeah.
in the movie. I was like, okay, matlab, Thomas Wayne must have done something,
Hmm.
some like uh, questionable stuff, and Riddler must have been a kid and must have been affected by that. So now he's come back to take vengeance.
Hmm.
Um, I predicted that throughout. So not saying that's a bad plot line. It's just too weak. I feel to be a plot line for Riddler to be at this level of
Yeah.
motivation.
Yeah, because his
That
plotline, like his backstory, is essentially that he was one of the orphans who was affected by the renewal fund being pulled,
yeah
and so like all the resources they had for the Thomas and Martha Wayne that foundation for orphans, he was basically victim of Falcone's stuff taking away a lot of joys and lot of whatever.
yeah.
So I get that on paper, but it could have been a little deeper. It could have been a little
Yeah,
stronger.
that's what I'm saying. It works for the theme of
Right.
his vengeance being the wrong type or
Hmm.
whatever. Um, and yeah, it works towards the whole dishonesty thing. But as a villain, he just needs more impact on the story.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I mean, I- what else can I say? Oh yeah, and it was weakened by the fact that that I like that reveal. He's like Bruce Wayne, and then
Yeah.
it turns out like he doesn't
He doesn't
know him.
know. I
I
love
like that
Batman's look
reveal.
like, oh shit, he's looking at that
And
camera like isko todna padega baad mein. I love even before that, like
um,
I love the way another like pro or like this to Greg Fizer cinematography, the way he focuses on his eyes. There's a lot
yeah,
of shots in the movie where you just close in on his eyes, like the moment where he's basically looking at
very,
Catwoman, the moment when he realizes, okay, maybe the Riddler knows my truth.
yeah.
Uh,
That when he realizes Annika's dead,
yeah,
and things like that. Those are awesome. And yeah, but like Riddler's whole motive was way weakened by
mm-hmm.
the fact that like that turned out to be like a fake out.
Yeah,
And especially there was so much like leading towards it, it could not have been a mistake.
yeah,
Things like the you okay, firstly the GCPD being stupid as always. You have an entire wall of Bruce Wayne pictures and he's standing next to
yeah.
you and you don't know it,
The
bro. Come
real
on.
you.
Bro, come on, come on, come on.
Yeah.
Seriously, come on. I know it's fiction, but yeah. Um, that the video being named "The Truth Unmasked" and
Hmm.
things like that. You know, there was so much leading up to it, so that is very clearly a fake out that they were going for.
Right.
It just, in the moment, it was really cool, but you think about it for even a second as to why it happens, and it kind of falls apart.
Hmm.
Like it adds to Riddler's motivation, but his whole impact again just reduces because like he's targeting Batman because he thinks they were working together, which is
Hmm.
like why in this
Yeah,
way?
and you would
Why
think
through
that the
these
Riddler,
clothes?
because he's going after Gotham's dirty secrets and all that, like it all lines up that he would have figured out that Bruce Wayne is Batman, and he would have targeted that. And
Exactly.
another point, I heard someone else mention this, but so he goes to all these elaborate moves to kill all these people, right? And his number one target is Bruce Wayne because he's the one he feels he was violated by the most. Like, oh, he got all this money. He was also an orphan, but everyone focused on
He
him.
had
No
the
one focused on
privilege
us.
which I didn't get.
Yeah. And your plan to kill that guy who you have hold so much grudge against is to just send a bomb. Like you're not going. You went to such extreme lengths to kill off the first guy, the
Exactly.
mayor.
You you're okay, extreme lens, okay, and the fact that like he why that okay, if your thing is against Bruce Wayne,
Yeah.
why are you telling Batman this if you don't know that he's Bruce Wayne?
Yeah.
Why are
Uh,
you telling Batman? Why are you telling the GCPD? Why are you telling anyone?
mhm.
You should tell Sita Bruce Wayne. No, tell Batman. Okay, you capture Bruce Wayne for me, and I will talk to him.
Yeah.
Fucking what? Yeah. So Riddler, I felt like as a villain, just kind of was not up to the mark as
Hmm.
maybe the story deserved.
Right.
Um, yeah, we just outlined why. Also, a small thing, like a small con I have with this movie, the actual riddle solving.
Mm-hmm.
I legitimately, this is not a joke. I legitimately liked it better in Batman Forever because they
Okay.
showed them working through the riddle, going step by step, figuring out what the riddle means. Here
Yeah.
it's like, oh, what does a liar do when he dies? He lies still. See that it's just question answer, question answer, question
Right.
answer,
The only one
and
that
especially when it's a mystery,
yeah.
you want that working, right? You kind of want them to go step by step and tell you how they figured out what they did.
Mm-hmm.
It's like imagine if in Knives Out, Daniel Craig just says, "Oh, Chris Evans, you paid me to come here," and then movie over. That would suck. Mysteries shouldn't really work that way. So maybe yeah, that could be, okay, spend runtime on that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be better
Mm.
rather than just him going around these places figuring out clues or whatever. Spend runtime on that, on how he works as a detective to figure out things
Yeah.
and
The
solve.
only the only riddle, the main riddle that goes through the process you mentioned is the El Rata Elada.
Yeah,
That's the only one where they actually go through it a little more deeper than like they think that they figured it out really fast. But then yeah, there's layers to that. Also, Rate Lada is a website now where they're putting some cryptic clues for like, I think it's like the
People.
Riddler is making a comeback or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was speaking of which, at the end of this movie, there is a teaser.
Yeah,
Did you
I was
stay for
gonna
that?
come to that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The very end. Yeah.
the very very end. Like it's not even like a.
Goodbye.
Yeah, I won't even call it a post credit scene.
No,
It's
no.
just it's like a frame
Yeah.
of goodbye appearing. That's it. Um,
Well, you know
speaking of
what?
which, yeah,
Yeah,
huh.
let's just talk about the big tease then.
I was just getting to that. Let's talk
Yeah,
about Joker, who, by the way, is played by Druig from Eternals.
yeah, Barry Keoghan.
I was like, it is doesn't sound like Joaquin.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't exactly sound like Leto. If it turned out to be Leto, I would be a little pissed.
Oh fuck.
Um, and it turned out to be that guy. You know what my first guess was? Ki who it is?
Uh-huh.
The guy who played Joker in Gotham,
Oh, okay. Huh.
because of the hair.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was like, shit, are they like saying that that's canon now or something? That would be
Mm-hmm.
super cool. But I legit thought, like, after eliminating Leto and Joaquin, that was my next guess.
Hmm.
And I've seen that guy's portrayal. It's actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's funny, like that guy Barry Keoghan, he got cast billing above Jeffrey Wright and Andy Serkis in the credits. Like in the main credits aata hai na.
Seriously?
Yeah, yeah, his name comes up before like Jeffrey Wright and Andy Serkis get the and wala credit, where
Huh.
Barry Keoghan and Jeffrey Wright as Gordon and Andy Serkis as Alfred. That's what comes up, which was
Oh,
so funny.
wow.
And so about this, right? So there's a couple of things about that. That actor, he was like Warner Brothers was kind of going for a fake out for the marketing of this movie, where it was revealed that he was playing Officer Merkel, who is a partner of Gordon in the synopsis and in the trailer cut descriptions, all that stuff. And
Hmm.
then there were some set photos leaks where like he was wearing GCPD ka uniform, and obviously set photos, so it's blurry and all. So they were trying to throw off the scent that yeah, I'm playing Joker, but then I think some leaks happened or whatever. It was very unclear. Like even I was following the news, right? Even I was unsure that is he really going to be playing the Joker? Are they really going to have a Joker like scene? And then now reading Matt Reeves' interviews after the movie, he has said that they did shoot another scene with him at Arkham when when Batman goes to visit Arkham for some reason earlier than the movie, and they have some history.
Hmm.
Like he has caught this guy before. He's not the Joker yet, like the Joker we know, but he has caught him, and that's why he's in Arkham. And that scene was cut, and I'm glad it was cut. But yeah, so yeah, like he is the Joker. He's going to be the Joker. They're not obviously they're tiptoeing around that. They're not gonna say yeah, next movie is Joker, but that's the implication.
I mean, Joker
Uh,
is done in better in sequels anyway. So
yeah, and I we obviously don't get a clear look at him. We just get like he's in the shadows. You get a little light leak, so you can make out he's got green hair. He's got like scarred face. Uh,
that's what led me to believe that he's the guy from
yeah.
Gotham.
Ha ha ha. And then of course the dialogue. What is it they say? One day you're on top, the
You're a
next you're a
clown.
clown. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with the role. I haven't seen that guy in other stuff. Like I've heard
Oh
he's really
no, have
good.
you heard? Have you seen Killing of a Sacred Deer?
No, I've heard about that. And
Oh, dude, he is a good villain.
yeah, and there's
He
another one
I have full
called
faith.
is it There Will Be Blood or something? Like he's in another movie. I'm not so sure, but
What is he the guy from There Will Be Blood? What the fuck?
I don't know. Like I might be mixing up names. But wait, let me just check actually then.
Yeah, please. Shit, because then
Barry.
like my respect for him has gone way higher than it already was. Shit.
Wait, where's his filmography? Yeah. No, 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 no. No, There Will Be Blood is not
It's
here.
not. No,
Yeah,
nah.
yeah. It was in Killing of Sacred Deer, Green Knight, Eternals,
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk,
मतलब
American
Dunkirk में तो
Animals.
he was there for like a bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yep.
I mean, it's an interesting choice. Like, you wouldn't think of him really. That wouldn't be your first choice. You're or like the general public. No one would think of
Oh no,
that.
no, no. But yeah, but like watch Killing of a Sacred Deer, and the
Huh.
choice will make sense to you.
Yeah, yeah. Now that you say it, yeah, it makes sense. Like, I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
And also, I like the fact that, like, even though we get just like 2 or 3 lines from him, he's not going for that over the top. At least at start, until he starts laughing, he's not really going for that
That's fine. That Joker without a
damaged.
laugh is gonna be like, yeah, that,
I'm not
okay,
gonna hurt
okay.
you. Yeah, so I'm happy
Thank God.
because this is like even the Riddler kind of goes a little quite over the top at the end when he's caught, when he starts singing Ah Maria, he starts
Yeah, yeah.
singing, and I wasn't a fan of that. Like I like that he had a sense
I
of
liked it.
control
Yeah, like
beforehand.
I didn't mind it in the moment,
Hmm.
but I don't want him to continue with this.
Yeah,
Is
yeah,
what I
yeah,
would say.
yeah. So that will be an interesting choice. Like if they do go ahead with Joker, like even if they don't go with him as a main villain, he's gonna be in the background anyway,
Yeah.
which is fine. Like maybe they'll build up to him in a third one. Who knows? Like there's no clue. But there were plans of. So when this movie was being made, it was said that it was being planned as a trilogy, or at least he has a deal. The filmmakers and the actors have a deal for a trilogy. So let's just see. And of course, this is starting its own self-contained universe, right? So you're gonna have the second and third movies, but you're also getting 2 more shows. The
Hmm.
first show is on HBO Max. Both of these shows. The first show is going to be on Penguin after the events of this movie, and
Colin Farrell only
yeah,
Penguin.
yeah, yeah, him only. And he has said that we are trying to go even darker. Like it could be R-rated territory. And there's another show. I don't think it has been titled yet, but it's focusing on GCPD in the first year of Batman's arrival. So it's going to follow the perspective of someone in the GCPD, some officer, not Gordon, from what we know. Apparently, a corrupt official in GCPD. So
Oh,
there's,
okay, that's interesting.
yeah,
I was about to say, what if they just do like, if not Gordon, then it has to be Aaron Cash or someone.
yeah, yeah. So there's not much details on the second show yet, but Penguin is pretty much set in stone. Like even Colin Farrell has come out and said that, yeah, I'm liking what we're trying to do. Let's see. That'll be
Mhm.
interesting. So and I like the fact that not only Matt Reeves said, you know what, I don't want to play in a playing ground where stuff is set already. Like I want to do my own stuff. But Warner Brothers was very confident in the movie. Like the first indication is the runtime. Like usually studio movies like this.
That's another thing that came across my mind.
Hmm.
Ki the amount of creative control that is very clear on screen
Yeah,
is something we don't get usually, especially for a 3 hour movie.
yeah.
So I guess Warner Bros is learning.
And it is a very dark movie. Like for a PG-13 movie, it's like quite it goes quite hard. And like the second viewing I went with another friend, and that guy is not into these dark kind of movies. Okay, so I could visit he was radiating that. Oh my god! Like he said in the interval, I asked him, ki, "Oh, like how you liking this?" Like, yeah, I'm like it's good. Like he recognized the movie itself is good, but it's not vibing with him. So it'll be interesting to see how it does. Like it's doing well at the box office right now because it's the first weekend. Duh. Audience reactions is also pretty positive, but let's see
Really?
how. Yeah, it has like 90-95% on Rotten. But the
Yeah, that's not pretty
audience,
positive, bro. That's
yeah, yeah.
like, yeah.
But it being that dark, I would have expected, like, I wouldn't be surprised if it was much lower. Like, the critic rating makes sense to me, even though I don't agree with. It's funny because some of the reviews I've read, like the synopsis, some of the stuff some critics are disliking is exactly the stuff I loved. Like, some people are saying, oh, this is dark and depressing. I'm like, yeah, that's what I loved. What the fuck?
It's Batman.
Yeah, one critic, I don't know who, but someone wrote, and this is not an attack on them, like it's fine, it's their opinion, but they said, like it's very dark, depressing, blah, blah, blah. And not sure the world needs this right now. Like, why do you care what the state of the world is? Like, this movie is gonna
What?
stay for like years and years. Like, how does that matter? Like, that's a
Well,
stupid argument to make.
I
It's
okay.
stupid. But yeah,
Well,
most people are liking it. Like, most critics, most audiences are really liking it. And
and I mean, you can see why. Like
mhm,
the direction, like I said, is immaculate.
mhm.
Matt Reeves just done it again. I can't wait to see what he does next. That hopefully is not Batman. I hope he goes the Nolan route and he does something in between first and then Batman.
Well, he's gonna be
Uh,
busy with the Penguin show for a while now. I don't think he's gonna do all the episodes, but he is very heavily
like
involved. Kind
must
of
be,
like
but yeah.
James Gunn, I guess, like for Peacemaker. James Gunn for Peacemaker, I think he did 3 or 4 of the 6 episodes,
Mm.
like wrote and directed. So he might also do like half of the show. Who knows? So he's
Yeah,
gonna be
that's
pretty busy in this world.
so yeah. Matt Reeves just like he was like I said in the beginning only. He was my one point of constant faith.
Hmm.
This movie might turn out good.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, like his direction is mind blowing. The cinematography is just fucking gorgeous.
yeah.
Um, the production design. I don't know why we haven't mentioned this because like the vintage vibe that they've got of Gotham is
Hmm.
crazy good,
Yeah.
crazy fucking good. Some shots that stick out to me in my head are when Batman like he cuts the cable at the end,
Yeah.
uh, and he's falling and he falls into the water, and the police siren ka red and blue is like shining over the water. Oh
Hmm.
my god!
Yeah, dude, the lighting,
The
holy
the
fuck! Like,
the, the
not only the
lighting, the
framing is obviously great, but the lighting
lighting,
complements it so well.
the color correction,
Yeah.
the color grading, uh, everything in this movie was just the style is
Hmm.
oh ho, 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 too
And
fucking good.
for the Gotham, so when the movie was being made, obviously they hadn't said like that was a point of contention, like which time period is this set in? And
Mm.
for a long time, people were thinking this is set in the 90s,
That's what
and
I thought.
and that's what I was getting from the movie also until obviously the later part, the thumb drive and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, but it kind of has a, like, obviously the tone is very 90s suspense kind of tone, but it, even the way the movie, the way Gotham looks is kind of retro slash modern look, where it's not
Mm.
over the top 80s end, but it could be set in the 90s, it could be set in the early 2000s, it could be set in 2010s, because even the tech that Batman uses, and we didn't talk on that, let's touch on that, right? The tech that he uses, uh, it's not overly what do you call, digitized, the tech he's
Overly
using.
futuristic.
Haha, like the way, when he's reviewing the footage from his contact lenses, right? Which cool idea.
Yeah.
The footage is kind of, it's something you would see from an older movie,
Yeah.
where they would think, okay, this is what we can do in the future, not that we are already here.
Mm.
So all the tech stuff that is using. So I love the tone of the movie. I absolutely love the tone. I love the way, like, this Batmobile is stuff that he has made. It's not that Lucius Fox gave him all these gadgets, who's not in the movie anyway. Like, he obviously, like, what would he do? He took a muscle car, he heavily modded it, like full on, pura 10 ghanta. He played NFS or something. Like, okay, chalo, ready, let's do it. Turned it into this monster of a car, and even in the end, he gets the bat bike. Like, he has a bike
Mhm.
throughout the movie, but in the end, you see the bat ears in front of the bike, the final shot. Uh, so I love the fact that Batman is very, like, what do you call, independent. Like, it's very self-made. All of
Mhm.
his, all the tech he's using, like even the
Yeah,
final Venom shot he
it's very
gets.
much him. He's not relying on like
Yeah,
Wayne Enterprises or some shit like that.
yeah.
It's all him.
Mm,
So yeah, and that provides that sense of grit, like I said,
mm-hmm.
uh, to the movie. I feel.
Also, Robert
You know
Pattinson, like, I love the fact that he doesn't go for a bat voice, really. Like, he's very soft spoken in the
yeah, there
movie.
is. I would say that there is a bad voice. It's just
Hmm.
not as abrasive or
Yeah.
as noticeable as Christian Bale.
The only moment where it felt like he was going for it a little bit was when when they meet Catwoman at the roof, when like Catwoman says, "Okay, I'm gonna go kill Falcone," and he says, "No, no, we don't cross that line." That stuff. Because he's raising his
Does
voice,
that,
it
but
comes off.
yeah, even when he's like punching the glass
Yeah,
Riddler car and
yeah,
things like
yeah,
that. So yeah, there is a bad voice. He's definitely making it rougher,
yeah.
but it's not like throat
Throat
cancer.
cancer. No, thank God.
Where were the other drugs going? It wasn't like that. Even though I love that,
Hmm.
I fucking love it. But yeah, this was more subtle and like it just fits this style better. I don't know how that voice or even like a digitized robot voice
Yeah, yeah,
like
like
Batfleck
Affleck
had.
did.
I don't know how well that would fit in this universe and this tone that they're going for. So
Yeah.
I think yeah, all these little elements they make such a stylish movie
Hmm.
that like even if the story was not as great, I'm so involved in the way it looks, the way it sounds. The sound design is crazy sharp. Michael Giacchino, like I said, he's how does he do this? Everything he makes is good. Everything.
After the movie,
Um,
also, did you get like at the start of the movie when Bruce is narrating, right? Like 2 years of this has turned me into a nocturnal animal. I got very heavy Rorschach vibes, which makes sense because like
yeah,
Rorschach came from that only, and we haven't really seen that like Bruce in this. Like we got some hints of it obviously in Batman Begins. Like there are scenes where when Bruce wakes up, like after like he's slept like maybe 40 minutes or something, he's doing push-ups and Alfred is drinking tea and all that. But in this movie you can tell like this guy does not sleep. His eyes are
he's
like
sleepy boy.
bloodshot when he's Bruce.
Yeah.
uh,
So I think
I'm
that's part of why when he's Bruce Wayne, he's so fucking
Yeah.
emo.
Yeah, he can't
He's
he
just
can't
he's
even
just
step
the
into
dude is just
sunlight. Like the first
dude
time
is
we
just
see him as Bruce,
sleepy, man.
he like fuck he takes on sunglasses the first
Yeah,
time we see him.
he's just fucking sleepy.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
love it. I love the fact that this is a side that we haven't seen of him, and it's hard to do because think of it. This character has been there for like 80 years now.
yeah,
1939, right? Almost a century. Like we've seen so many variations of this guy in live action, in animation, all that. It's really hard to come up with anything new regarding a character like
yeah,
this.
yeah. And I wouldn't say like the style is necessarily new because
Yeah.
Fincher, but bringing it to this character and executing it in this manner that makes it new. That gives us like good variety. So I really like that.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, what else was I saying? Yeah, I just want to mention about the editing.
Mm-hmm.
Moment to moment, it's very good. If you see the cuts, like moment to moment, shot to shot, it's
Mm-hmm.
really good. But like you said, the pacing of the second half, I don't know if that was an editing thing or a direction thing or even a story thing, I would say. But yeah, that's maybe second half could just be tightened up.
Yeah.
But yeah, this movie's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, IGN giving it 10 out of 10 is like the most IGN thing to do, by the
It
way.
is. I mean, for
The-
for the record, I don't really watch IGN ka movie reviews. I still watch their like. I'm still fine with
I
their
don't
game
watch
reviews.
anything. I just found their
Uh-huh.
somebody had posted it, I think, on their story,
The Batman
like
review.
the post
Mm-hmm.
where they give it a 10, and I'm like, it's IGN. Fuck it.
I mean, it's fine. Like the only reason why, like, because it's IGN. Like, if it was that specific reviewer doing it on his own blog or something, it would like I'm fine with people like with people's ratings, but because IGN's like this is just a side ramble, but because IGN's review system is a little
Personal
flawed.
history.
Huh? I mean,
Personal history.
well, no, I mean, I didn't do any reviews as such. I only did a couple of reviews, but IGN US, like the amount of people they have, it's crazy. Even like movie reviews ka to anyway, I don't watch their movie reviews. Uh,
Hmm.
but even with game reviews, even though they've been doing pretty good stuff lately, their system is kind of not flawed. But when you have so many fucking people and you're
Yeah,
assigning stuff to
how do you
selective,
maintain? Yeah, how
yeah,
do you maintain like one constant output of your company?
yeah, exactly. At that point, it becomes just content. Like we have to have a review out.
Yeah, it really is. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah, like with us, for example, like we've been doing this for like what more than a year now, and like we disagree with each other a lot, but if someone is listening to us, like they know exactly, okay,
They
like
know
this guy's
what
gonna
you
be
think.
defense of
They
this
know
stuff.
what I think. Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah, and that's what's important.
Yeah. Um. Yeah. So fuck IGN basically. uh, so yeah, I think the best way to end this would be, where would this rank if you have to,
I would put it.
in all the Batman movies that exist,
Uh, so I would
live
put
action?
it like somewhere between Begins and Dark Knight, I guess, somewhere between that.
Hmm.
Uh, so thing with me, right? Well, the Dark Knight trilogy obviously is great and all, but Batman Begins, I'm not the biggest fan of because, like, to me, the way you shoot a movie, the way a movie looks is a big part, and Begins specifically compared to the later movies, it's kind of what's the word? Like, obviously, the combat sequences are very shaky and all that. Everyone knows that, but it never really spoke to me, even though it gets the character really well. Begins gets the character really well. Dark Knight, obviously, everyone loves. I love, even though I don't always hold it to like a untouchable pedestal that it has become in recent years. Like in recent years, it feels like you can't even try to criticize the movie, even if you have like good intentions, like you want
I
to
was
provide
I'm
feedback.
keeping myself quiet while you're saying this for a reason.
No, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it's a like that. Oh, there are glaring flaws or whatever, but
Yeah.
you have to
I mean,
keep
yeah,
that in
okay, that's
mind.
like, yeah. If it
Yeah,
didn't speak to
because
you, that's fine.
no, no,
Um.
I still love it. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just saying we should allow people and ourselves to be able to criticize it if possible. Because what happens is when you hold it that high regard, right? All the movies that are going to come in the future, including this one, the default answer, "Ha, acha tha, but it's not Dark Knight." Like, even if it could be, like, even if someone could make an argument, the rest of people are going to say, "No, you can't say bad
So
stuff."
here's the thing, right? When I saw it the first time, for me, this was better than Batman Begins, and the only thing better
Huh.
than this was Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
But the second time I saw it, I was like, okay, Batman Begins is actually kind of better,
Yeah, sure. That's fine.
because I mean, yeah, they're like, yeah, okay, they're different styles,
Mm-hmm.
but they are a Batman movie at the end of it. And like I
Yeah.
said, the flaws I had with this movie, for me, they just don't exist with Batman Begins. That does
Yeah.
everything I feel a Batman story should. Um, and yeah, so yeah, for you, this is like number two out of all Batman movies. That's cool. For me, it's
Yeah.
number three after
Yeah,
Dark Knight and
we're
Batman
in
Begins.
we're in the same like territory anyway. Like even our
Yeah.
complaints are like pretty much line up.
In terms
So
of riddle solving, though, this is lower than Batman Forever.
that's the real rating that matters anyway. So
Yes,
oh man, but thank you. That was
I
it.
think that's it.
Yeah, I think we talked about pretty much everything we could, and yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, it's a great fucking Batman movie. Go watch it, support it.
Please fucking watch it ASAP, and please watch it in IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, and bye bye. We'll see you next time.